slithering customer.
He's operate well, doesn't he? Across the whole of that front line. Barak was the man that got a face full of football from Alexandro. This was on the other side of the pitch where he drove into the box, set the ball up for Aaron Ramsey. Stout defending though by Magnani.
Jumped on Magnani, and nudged by Barak and Zaccagni. Bentancur here. And look at Chiesa. One thought in mind, positive, driving forward. A little bit of a stumble ahead of him. Back with Bernardeschi now though, Ramsey outside it. Chiesa wants it square, here he is. Kulusevski. Ronaldo lurking far post. Rami, I think, was just trying to flick it on to him. Zaccagni and Lazovic in tandem down the Verona flank. They've worked it very well. De Ligt thrusts it up as far as Zaccagni once more. Miguel Veloso, shooting range for him. And a respectable effort on target.
Yeah, never really going to trouble Szczesny, is it? Bending into the Juve goalkeeper. Just a couple of moments before, something that really exhibited what you were saying, Steve, with regards to getting support up to Lasagna. Wonderful driving run down the left-hand side, the ball into the box. Only one person to aim for. That man was Lasagna. Barak came in the latter stages, but when he's outnumbered 4-1 by the Juventus defence, what chances Lasagna got if the ball's not absolutely on his toes?
Well, 19 attempts now in the match. Starts lifting more rapidly in this second half as the stakes become ever more apparently higher. Yeah, just look at it there, look, Lasagna in the middle. There's no one within 20 yards of him.
Talk about isolation. Look, 4 Juventus defenders around him. He's got to do something out of this world to create a goal from that, hasn't he?
Sturaro. Of course, a long time ago it used to be many clubs would play with an out-and-out front two. As tactics have evolved and the game has become all the more fascinating for it, whether it's 3 or 4 at the back or 3-4-2-1, all these different variations and permutations that coaches introduce these days. Nonetheless, it's about playing well with teammates and colleagues, and if one player like Lasagna is just left without any support around him, against top-class defenders, he's got his work cut out. Here's Zaccagni, Lazovic to the left. Zaccagni, and a little ricochet through that takes it kindly for Szczesny.
Yeah, it was nearly, but not quite, once again, wasn't it, from the home side. Zaccagni in that driving roll down the left-hand side. Really such a important point you make, Steve, about where the striker in Lasagna has been either used or underused by his teammates. When he is on his own and he has got 10 or 15 yards of space around him, then the ball into him has to be absolutely perfect for him to do something with, because if it's up for a flick on, teammates aren't close enough to get whatever flick on it is. It's got to be done in a way that he can control it, he can bring other players into play, but on the flip side, his teammates have to be willing and committed enough to get up to help him.
I suppose it's all about the difference between an individual and a team. But, he looks desperately in need of a companion up there in that Verona attack. Ramsey down. And at the moment, 1-0 to the champions. And the goal from Cristiano Ronaldo, not going to go down as a classic for his collection, but yet another to contribute to his burgeoning stats. Miguel Veloso now. And Zaccagni thinks that's a corner. The referee agrees. Demiral.
It's like a play once again, though, wasn't it, Juve? Rabiot was the man that gave the ball away, allowing Verona a chance to drive into the 18-yard box, which in turn led them to create a corner.
Barak near post, Lovato behind him. No one in blue attacking the ball. Barak actually took it away from Gunter. Ricocheting around, but successfully for Juve, finding Ramsey. Verona coming into this off what has been their best home run of the season, having won the last three, Crotone, Napoli and Parma. But they have only kept the one clean sheet since November. One in 14. You see about the improvements that Andrea Pirlo's made. For me, when Chiellini returned, the Juve defence looked rugged and strong once again. He was exceptional the other week. Is Bernardeschi. How many times have we said that, mind you, down the years? Bernardeschi, still going. Ronaldo. I mean, he's half a yard.
He's a loss for any defence, isn't he? Chiellini, what he brings, leadership, but into a ball-playing aspect of what he is as a defender.
I think as much as anything, not just the expertise, he reads the game so brilliantly, and he's still got the hunger, the desire, and it's full-blooded passion from him.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see when you see him playing, isn't it? It's a real sense, the art of defensive leadership that he shows.
Well, Storaro's not going to score against his old club today, even though he did so for Genoa not so long ago. Ronaldo Vieira coming on here. And Weston McKennie for Juve. Well, Aaron Ramsey has had a yellow card, but boss may be saying to him, well, you've done a good job.
Yeah, he got cautioned, didn't he? Should have perhaps had a goal as well.
In some senses, he's deserved the goal, but he didn't deserve the yellow card. But McKennie, the top-scoring player from the USA in Serie A history now. Bernardeschi's corner. Bounce that looks as if it might fall kindly for Kulusevski. McKennie is there and available for Alexandro. But Zaccagni's down.
Again, it eats into the rhythm of the game, doesn't it? Hasn't been a game that's really the most fluid example of Serie A football, has it?
Well, I think it's one of those where, you know, at the end of it all, this is one of those where it's less about the performance, more about the result. If Juve get the win and put the pressure on the top two ahead of their matches tomorrow, job done.
Absolutely correct. And again, we talk about an exceptional season and having been in a position where you do grind games out and you can look back over the course of a season and games can just disappear into the ether. It's one of those, really, isn't it? If it's 3 points, as you quite rightly say, Steve, that adds up to Juve being able to lift the title come the end of the season, it is hard earned, it's well fought, it's thoroughly deserved, because there's no way of fluking Serie A title, is there? As I said earlier on in the proceedings, Mauricio Sarri moved on because they didn't perhaps perceptively win it in the right way, which still baffles me. You either win a title or you don't win a title, regardless of how you win it. And it does mean that it's the 3 points that helps Scudetto to remain with Juventus, then it's well earned, isn't it?
Well, 10th consecutive title is the target. When you think back to that period 35 years ago when it was Verona, who were the champions. They did actually meet in the second round of the European Cup back then when Juve were the defending European champions. Goal his first leg in Verona, so Juve won the second leg 2-0, only to be knocked out by Barcelona in the quarterfinals. Juve have always been the masters of getting the important results, even when their performance and their form hasn't been at their highest level. And at the moment, with 20 minutes to go, it's not going to go down as one of the matches you'll remember this season, but it may be every bit as vital. You'll hear coaches talk about every game being worth 3 points, and it's worth reiterating that. It may not be pretty, it may not be glorious football, but if they grind out the win here against tough opponents, Andrea Pirlo talked about it being a physical game in prospect at his press conference yesterday.
I think as well, again, reflective of world football, even though they are a big team, still going to miss players. You mentioned Chiellini earlier on, Bonucci, of course, Cuadrado, Danilo. We've only got to look at the Premier League and see what damage injuries have done to Liverpool's title, or attempt at a title challenge once again, back-to-back in the Premier League. No football club is immune from the whims of form and fitness.
So Kenny here, just brushed off by Rabiot. Well, Hellas Verona still have a way back into the match here. They've got Faraoni coming in to attack it. Maybe not enough of a presence in the penalty area at times, as we've mentioned, but if Juve keep a clean sheet despite the absence of all those top-line defenders, again, De Ligt, Demiral, Alexandro, they're super players, they're tremendous players, but they haven't been the go-to players when Bonucci and Chiellini have been available. Not when they've both been available, at least.
That's just the thing, isn't it? There'll come a time, of course, when Chiellini and Bonucci are no longer that first choice, but it's no disgrace at this moment to be second choice to statuesque defenders, and I mean both literally and figuratively, in what they've achieved in the game.
Just a moment here, because Cristiano Ronaldo injured, looks like the knee. Oh, good to see him back on his feet so quickly.
It's innocuous enough, wasn't it? Turned and ran into Magnani. I don't really understand where he expects Magnani to go. He can't just vanish into thin air, can he?
And you're right, David, about the mantle being passed really from Bonucci and Chiellini to the likes of De Ligt and Demiral especially.
Let's be honest as well, it's tangible minutes on the pitch, because if you look at De Ligt's time in Italy so far, this is getting minutes on the pitch.
Oh,
It's not been a roaring success, has it? And again, they've got a chance now just to show how good they are defensively, something that Szczesny's going to want to see again.
Well, he's smiling, but he might not be smiling if Hellas Verona capitalise on the error. Faraoni darts near post. Almost too much air, almost too much height on that corner. Veloso, Zaccagni, behind Barak, the interception easy, comfortable, and Juve bring it away with, they're waiting for support here. Kulusevski's wide. Just one final point on the Juve centre-backs, 21 and 22, De Ligt and Demiral. If they've got the longevity of Bonucci and Chiellini, well, that's the centre-back pairing for the next decade.
Absolutely. You can only think, as we were speaking about Szczesny and Gigi Buffon, about the passing of the mantle and the passing of the experience, to unbelievable professionals to be able to spend day in, day out with to learn the craft.
Is Lazovic. Well, there really hasn't been anywhere near enough from Hellas Verona in the final third to cause Juve great troubles, except for that one brief fleeting moment first half. The Faraoni header, the save of the match from Szczesny. Is Vieira. Who joined from Sampdoria back in October. I can almost hear you breathing in my neck there with the words, another former Leeds man.
Covering all different types of eras, out we here with the former Leeds brigade.
Miguel Veloso. Well, Barek's there, well guarded by Alexandro, adapting to that centre-back role today with Bernardeschi playing as the wider player.
They're not going to rush anything, are they, between now and the final whistle? Alexandro just taking his time to get this throwing back in.
Here's Vieira. Now Miguel Veloso. Here's Zaccagni. Danger here for Juve. Lazovic on the outside. Barek! 1-1. And finally, Hellas Verona committing players into that Juve penalty area, and it pays off big style.
Well, that's a tactic they've been crying out to employ in the second half. We've seen Lasagna ploughing the loneliest of furrows. Barak's hovered in and around him at times, not close enough by any stretch of the imagination. He does get himself into a position here where, just as Ronaldo affected the game for Juventus, so he has for Hellas Verona. I don't even think that Alexandro knows who's behind him, what's behind him, what threat's lurking. It's a powerful climb, isn't it? Really towering header at the back post, giving Szczesny absolutely no chance at all.
Well, etched on the face of Cristiano Ronaldo, the frustration as his opposite number, Antonin Barek, notches what is his 6th Serie A goal of this campaign. Well, we set for a grandstand last dozen minutes here. Shades of that corresponding game last year. Ronaldo with the opener. It was Barini who got the equaliser for Hellas Verona that day. Look at them now hustling. The belief is back. Bentancur, an initial error, wasn't punished. Indeed, he can now go on himself here. Rodrigo Bentancur, support available. Cristiano Ronaldo.
We've seen it so many times, haven't we? He wants to dominate the game, he wants to have an influence on proceedings, but too many players in front of him to really get an actual credible shots off. He does have options either side. Maybe again, the frustration is coming back into it because they found a second wind, Hellas Verona.
Magnani, Faraoni. Barak. This is Lazovic towards Lasagna, who was being marshalled very tightly by De Ligt. Lazovic again, able to produce the quality from out wide. Verona comes in on Szczesny.
Well, it worked so well for them with the goal, didn't it? Stood up again in a very similar position. Just the body shape of Alexandro. Got the captaincy tonight, hasn't he? The responsible role in the team, but took no responsibility when the ball came into the box. Didn't know at all that Barak was behind him.
10 minutes ago, we were talking about Juve grinding out a win when the performance has been, well, let's say less than monumental. And now we're looking at, in 10 minutes' time, Juve having taken their foot off the gas a little bit and not having produced the quality. They could yet be punished, they could yet drop points, and they could yet keep the door open for the front runners from Milan tomorrow without putting the necessary pressure on.
I think if you sat there as Inter or Milan, you're looking at this and cheering the goal that's gone in and willing the home side on to try and capitalise on what they've done in the last few minutes of the game.
Good interchange again. Lazovic has been pivotal to the improvement down that flank for them. So Kanye involved, now Vieira. And look now, they've got three players in the box. Lasagna not so isolated anymore. Zaccagni. Vieira's popped up in the area as well. And it's just giving Juve's defenders that bit more to worry about.
I think the great thing is when you look at substitutions that are made, Vieira's come on and started to ruffle a few feathers, hasn't he? Not standing on ceremony when it's come to putting his foot in. Lazovic as well, you're quite right to say, Steve, down that side of the pitch. Marco went off, trudged off, not happy, but certainly giving them an added impetus down that corridor.
Veloso trying to wriggle away from the attentions of Bentancur. Barak set up nicely to be hit.
A sign of his confidence perhaps with the goal going in. Catch it well, did he, in the end? Slicing across the shot harmlessly wide.
Change is coming. More than one. Better. Davidovic. Faraoni makes way. It's confirmation of Davidovic for Faraoni. And then it's Zaccagni who's making way here for Bessa. They're going for this now.
It's a proactive roll of the dice, isn't it, by Ivan Juric as we head towards the last 5 minutes of the game. So it comes on with a bit more energy, fresh legs at the very top of the pitch. It's a real obvious upping of the tempo, isn't there, once that goal's gone in. Saying that they were toiling, but it felt like the wind had come out the sails of the home side when Juve took the lead, but they've stuck to the task, haven't they?
They have, and Bessa there involved. Again, look at the way they're hustling now. It's they who seem to be finishing more strongly. And Barak now alongside Lasagna. They might not need either. Szczesny tips over. Lazovic with a bullet.
Really is rocking the Juventus backline, isn't it? Lazovic opens up the little gap punches it towards goal. It's the tip of the finger from Szczesny off the crossbar. That helps Juve out also.
Twice he's done that. Szczesny, brilliant reactions onto the frame and away. But it's Hellas Verona on the up at the moment. Barak near post. Juve needing all hands to the pump. There's a lack of options for Andrea Pirlo today. And Barak missed his cue.
So close, wasn't it? So close at the back post.
So 5 minutes to go.
Nice flick. It's first contact that they get once again. Clear to the 6-yard box, just behind Barak though.
So Chiesa, replaced by Alessandro Di Pardo, who came on for his Serie A debut against Crotone on Monday.
It's a result potentially in a performance that won't dispel any of the doubters, isn't it? He'll be answering questions once again. Andrea Pirlo, always unruffled when it comes to debates about where the team's going and progress and his management style so far.
Well, danger here. It's a threatening run. And now Barak, scorer of that goal for Hellas Verona, and they flood forward in the form of Vieira. There's altogether more dynamism about Hellas Verona in these last 10 minutes or so. Davidovic. And the flag up.
The assistant referee's given a foul there, but it's such a soft one. Less of the man to a judge to have obstructed.
You talk about Pirlo and the way he's being judged. I think we should say in fairness to him that, and we have done, about the talent that he's missing tonight. Morata, Dybala, let alone Bonucci, Chiellini, Quadrado, Artur. There are some huge names missing for him today. But this is also about the attitude of the players when they were one up. Is Miguel Veloso. Is there a grandstand finish from him? Not this time.
I think you're right, Steve. It never felt like they were going to press the issue. Yes, there was a decent chance for Ramsey, but they didn't score the goal, then go through the gears, did they? It was an intervening part of the game where there was a lull. Ivan Juric is desperate to make sure that that isn't the case. And again, from Juventus' point of view, you've got legends looking on, but when we are judging Andrea Pirlo, when he is getting discussed about in the Italian media and judged by pundits and professionals alike, we do sometimes take the context out of it. His first managerial job at a huge football club he knows so very, very well, but the experience isn't there, is there? So he's got to make sure that if he does make mistakes, he learns from them. I think expectation levels have got to be realistic also.
Yeah, I've seen some wonderful displays from Juve this season. I've also seen some stinkers, and I'm thinking about Fiorentina and Napoli, where they just weren't at the races at all. And this is below par again. Maybe not as bad as those others I've just mentioned, but at the same time, it's just been a fractured performance that's lacked the killer instinct. And now, is it Hellas Verona with the final say? It's Barak. It's charged down by Bentancur, and Szczesny saves the corner.
We spoke earlier on in this second half about Juve grinding out a win and how important 3 points could be come the end of the season. Tables really have turned now. It's Juve that are hanging on, desperate to make sure that they come away from here with that singular point that they've managed to get.
Well, it's giving up the opportunity to apply pressure. I think that's the thing that strikes me most of all about this today. They were one up, and the two clubs from Milan playing tomorrow. After this, Juve will have played 23 games like Inter and Milan, but they'll be 7 points off the league leaders, as it stands. But maybe you know who can come through and steer them to joy and steer them to glory. Cristiano Ronaldo halted in his tracks. Damjanovic takes the yellow for the team.
Certainly potentially cometh the hour, cometh the man. Again, it's not the heaviest of challenges, is it? Damjanovic is just trying to stop Ronaldo in full flow. We saw one in the first half, at the very end of the first half, which was thumped against the wall. That was a hell of a distance out. This one's much closer.
This moment is almost written for Cristiano Ronaldo. The champions on the prowl after recent defeats to Napoli and Porto. Can they find that killer moment in front of goal? Can this man, their inspiration, their enigma, can he convert in added time here after Hellas Verona fought their way back? Here comes Cristiano Ronaldo, and the wall does its job. Ronaldo again. Here's Kulusevski. Still time for a winner.
Certainly it's a frustration, isn't it, for Juve fans over the course of this season. Ronaldo once again stepping up and thumping the ball against the wall. We know as an exponent of wonderful set pieces. Two of them today, though, been very easily repelled by underwhelming kicks.
McKennie's tossed it into the mix. Rabiot's there. Demiral's also very much in the mix there. De Ligt in a hurry with pressure from Lasagna. Just over a minute plus. Demiral again. Here's McKennie offside.
It's the flick more than anything, isn't it? That is adjudged to have been offside. Ronaldo once again looking like he's trying to help out the assistant referee. It's not gone their way, has it? Frustration all around for Juventus and Andrea Pirlo. His standards that he wants his side to set. You mentioned them, Steve, the great games that we've seen from them over the course of the season. The consistency, maybe slightly churlish to say, hasn't been there for a team that's third in Serie A, looking to put pressure on the top two, but expectation that goes with the 9 in a row winners as they go for a 10 is there, and it's palpable and it's clear for all to see.
Not as relentless, not as ruthless as Juve fans would hope. And it could cost them. But you have to give credit to Hellas Verona for the comeback here. There goes the full-time whistle. Not many can boast an unbeaten record against the champions home and away this season. But it is a second draw for Hellas Verona and more dropped points for the Bianconeri. Ivan Juric has done it again after Cristiano Ronaldo's opener for Juventus in the second half. The fight back came, and it was Hellas Verona's number 7, Antonin Barak, who once they finally committed players into the box to support Lasagna, was there to power home the header. For Hellas Verona, it's another great home point against Juventus after beating them here last season. For Cristiano Ronaldo, as he talks to his compatriot from Portugal, Miguel Veloso. Well, Cristiano Ronaldo's face said it all. Frustration and disappointment at more dropped points, just when they had the chance to put the pressure on Inter and Milan at the top. Final score, Hellas Verona 1, Juventus 1. So the players leave the field after the second draw between these two this season. Well, a brilliant save from Wojciech Szczesny early on in the match. Little flicked header from Faraoni, tipped onto the post.
It was a great header, wasn't it? The near post by Faraoni. Needed instant Cat-like reflexes from Szczesny to tip the ball onto the post, keeping his side in the game early on.
Federico Chiesa patrolling on the right flank for them today. Teasing, tormenting, getting his shot away. Not too much of a trouble for Silvestri.
Yeah, he was industrious enough, wasn't he, Chiesa, over the course of the 90 minutes. It's a snapshot. He's put the save from Silvestri.
The goal came in the second half. And Juve patient in their build-up. Hellas Verona a little bit slow out of the traps in the second period. And Aaron Ramsey finding Federico Chiesa, teeing up Ronaldo. Thank you very much, 1-0.
Criminal, really, that he's afforded that much time and space in the opposition box. If you're going to try and sense danger, if you're going to make sure that when all hands are to the pump, when you've got the bases covered, you really do need to pick up Cristiano Ronaldo in your own 18-yard box. Good work by Chiesa to unleash the talisman. Silvestri could have done better also. But danger's got to be sensed, and it wasn't.
Well, a depleted squad for Juve, not the reinforcements available from the bench they'd like. Still a very strong starting 11 on paper. But then it was Hellas Verona who showed their mettle, their steel. They made some changes, notably with Veloso, Vieira and indeed Lazovic on the outside here. All those substitutes contributing, and Barak climbing above Alexandro to level it up at 1-1.
Well, it's something over the course of the second half, Steve, that you were crying out for. Hellas Verona duly obliged, they got men forward. Barak found himself in the box more often than not, was rewarded with equalising goal.
Well, it was Hellas Verona who finished the stronger, and Lazovic, this one tipped onto the bar again by Szczesny.
It's a sign that Juve were hanging on towards the end. A very hard-earned point for the home side.
Highlight harinya dia. Highlight harinya mereka. Highlight hari-harinya. Highlight harinya dia. Highlight harinya mereka. Highlight hari-harinya. Namun, tak ada yang bisa tandingi highlight pertandingan Serie A.
Just incredible! Wait, let me try! It had to be him! What a mammoth goal!
Serie A Highlight Show di beIN Sports 1.
ชื่อพิชยานินทิรักษ์ระวีกุลนะคะชื่อเล่นชื่อไมค์ค่ะทีมในดวงใจของหนูนะคะคือแน่นอนว่าลิเวอร์พูลค่ะจุดที่แบบทำให้เราคลั่งคือ FA คัพปี 2006 ตอนแรกจะแพ้ละเฮ้ยเจอราร์ดมายิงนาทีสุดท้ายสุดยอดมากๆอ่ะสามารถพลิกกลับมาหลังจากนั้นนี่จากที่ติดตามเฉยๆกลายเป็นบ้าการเจอนักเตะที่แบบมาเจอตัวเป็นๆได้ถ่ายรูปเนี่ยจริงๆมันก็เป็นเหมือนฝันนะพี่อย่างที่หนูบอกว่าเหมือนเจอซุปเปอร์สตาร์ต้องบอกว่าทุกวันนี้เสื้อก็ลิเวอร์พูลเท้าก็ลิเวอร์พูลแม้กระทั่งเรื่องกินก็ลิเวอร์พูลบางคนนี่บอกว่าเฮ้ยก็เลิกเชียร์สิไปเชียร์ทีมอื่นได้แชมป์มันไม่ใช่อะค่ะสิ่งที่เรารักไปแล้วเราก็ต้องรักตลอดไปเวลาเราดูแมตช์การแข่งขันไม่ว่าจะแพ้ชนะคุณจะได้ยินเสียงเพลงนี้ในสนามการเป็นแฟนลิเวอร์พูลแล้วได้ออกไปเจอผู้คนแล้วคุณจะไม่ได้อย่างเดียวได้มีจริงๆอันนี้คือสิ่งที่ทำให้หลงรักลิเวอร์พูลมาจนถึงทุกวันนี้
Well, SR Berisha gets things underway. Always a focal point in every fixture he plays. SR Berisha, and he could have a major say tonight, you sense, Andy Harper.
Well, he's been in good form. Good evening, Brenton. And the team that is coming off a really polished performance. Convincing victory last week for Western. Not a lot of time for Melbourne Victory to enjoy the fruits of their victory during the week. Straight back into it today under the pressure.
Bannerman thought he'd won that throw. Wednesday night it was over Wellington. Back up for the victory this Saturday night. Mr. Moki space for Diamante. Diamante kept on going. United setting up an early chance, and Berisha poked it. Good reactions from Crocombe. Kept out that goal-bound effort from Berisha. Got a touch on Marachena's shot. Now Payne. Farias nicked it away from the youngster who debuted the other night, Dalibor Markovic. Sets up the set piece.
Yeah, just got there a bit late. Markovic. The will to try and get there and win the ball was good.
If you could place the ball anywhere for a set piece, this would be a pretty handy spot to try and pick out a teammate for Alessandro Diamante. Tommy Uscock, obvious threat. Berisha peels around. He tries to surprise the keeper. Max Crocombe saw what was brewing. I've seen him do that before, of course, in the A-League shoot when goalkeepers were anticipating crosses. Field dropping between the two centre halves. Lee Broxham, the victory's missed the fix-it for so long. Right back the other night in the absence of Storm Rule, shifted into the heart of defence. Diamante proving difficult to contain already. It's Victor Sanchez looking for Berisha. Climbing all over the top of Broxham, but it wouldn't come down in time for Bessar. Promising early sign from the visitors tonight.
Started very well. Very positive. Western United. Said by Dalibor Markovic.
Diamante teases it in. Berisha. And a little flick off Broxham for the corner. Crocombe's had to be on guard early.
Very, very good early pressure from Western United. Last two games for victory. One they've lost, one they've won. But they've conceded the early balance of power. Newcastle managed to recover after wasting that early dominance. The Wellington Phoenix didn't. Now let's see if Western United, it's very early signs, of course, early days, but to convert this early pressure.
Sanchez hangs it up and Crocombe commanding his area. Seen off the thread at Matt Acton. His spot was on the line a couple of games ago, Max Crocombe, but he's been in good form. Robbie Cruz timing his run. Calver asking for a flag that isn't going to come. McManaman and Connor Payne. Well, it does come. It is offside against Robbie Cruz. How about Berisha's improvisation here when Guarachana had the shot?
Good reaction from both Berisha and Crocombe.
Those 3 goals in the last 2 games have taken him into outright second all-time in the Australian National League, past Rod Brown last week.
to 138 goals scored down under. Only 102 to track down Damien Murray. Should do that by the time he's made 45, best. Good read again by Markovic. Should be a great battle. Dylan Farias and all his speed on this side.
Well, he set him up nicely, but Markovic read it really well. It's not just his second A-League match here. Nice left foot, gets into early position, reads the intent of Pires and steals it beautifully.
Dama Traore still out with that hamstring. Dylan Ryan's knee injury looks significant. Shotman's done a groin. McManaman kept it in. Cruz was in space in behind just then. Tries to use him. Cruz already a frustrated figure 6 minutes in. Anderson. Stormroot. Cruz able to go back to the right back. Here's Jake Brimmer. Markovic being forced backwards. Western United just back off. They don't continue the press. They've got their own strategy heading into games, don't they?
Each time slightly different. As Victory moved the ball to the near touchline then, he just noticed Sandro Diamante make a break from the line. Instead of drifting across with the Victory play, he pushed out from the midfield. That turned Victory around. That's a sharp bit of play from Markovic. Very well done.
Little talking to for Dylan Farias next time. Might find himself in the book. He might kick the ball away as well. This team's 10th and 11th on the A-League ladder. Desperate to start surging up the table and contending for those top 6 spots. Roxham, inventive pass, but too straight, allowing Curto to advance. Plenty of advice coming from the benches at the moment. Farias again held up by Markovic. McManaman having a go on the left-hand side. Farias didn't appreciate the way he dived in. The Scouts are heading back out to that right-hand side. The Victory's number 7. Sanchez trying to lift one in behind Stormroot. He reacted well. Shanna's got a point there. Didn't look like he did much wrong, but the whistle went against him. Brimmer's holding his shirt.
Yeah, I didn't see a free kick conceded by the Spaniard. Good spell to settle down. Victory. Just in possession the last few minutes.
Risky pass. Barisha trying to pounce, and Crocombe Again with the composure. Butterfield relieved. Just pausing on his run. Was wrong-footed by the Bremer pass. Trying to stay on side, so didn't bother chasing. That's a naughty challenge from Jake Bremer. Late on Guarachena. No card is out.
It was a bit high too. Right across the shin.
For the throwing of Markovic. 19-year-old who debuted during the week. Out of Sydney. Down to Melbourne a few years back now. Nehemiah pulled it back. Diamante couldn't stretch to control. Away goes McManaman. And the card is out here. Victor Sanchez, no stranger to them. It's his 5th yellow of the campaign. He'll miss the next game due to suspension. And he's got a long time to play on the yellow in this one.
That was a thunderous tackle from Sanchez. At full speed, back to his feet, retaking his position, the victory winner.
Anderson over the top. Robbie Cruz has timed his run here. Big chance for the victory. Wilscock able to get a touch. Calver's touch was more important than his, though. Time stood still. Well, Robbie Cruz there. Beautiful pass dropped over the top for the victory's number 10. Parias. King Markovic so clean defensively, able to poke it away. It's Lustica. Diamante. Calver goes to Payne. Space down the sideline for Imai. Important stretch by Markovic, otherwise Parias was inside the area and in behind.
Yeah, it's that moment as Parias kept the ball and get the attack going. It's always my preference. Defence isn't necessarily set, or certainly not a match. But what a great start, second game here for Markovic.